Welcome to this video today. I'm going to be reacting to stopped by the German police. Like, yeah, what do you have to look out for? Okay, let's take a listen.
You're visiting Germany and are stopped by the police who start asking you questions. What do you do now? What are your rights in this situation? And how can you make sure that you don't get yourself into trouble? In this video, I'm going to give you just a few pieces of advice. But first, I am not a lawyer, so this is not legal advice. Also, this video
you can't bring, if you get in trouble, you can't just bring up this video and blame him.
But first, I am not a lawyer, so this is not legal advice. Also, this video is not going to be helpful to you if you are in a very serious situation. If you've been arrested or are to be questioned as either a suspect or even a witness, then you really need to talk to a lawyer. Now, I don't want to give the impression that the German police are bad. Normally, they are professional and well-trained. It's not like some countries I could mention where you have to be very careful not to get shot.
Even before he said that, I'm like, is he gonna say America? I'm from Australia, but yeah, definitely aware of how things happen in America. So is this a bit of comparison? Like German police versus American, USA. Okay, interesting.
Where you have to be very careful not to get shot. That is very rare.
But also, it's depending. I'll say it. It may depend what you look like as well. I think, yeah, that's a case.
Careful not to get shot. That is very rare in Germany. Let's put this into perspective. In 2019, a total of 15 people were killed by police in Germany.
That doesn't seem high.
That is approximately 0.00002% of the entire population.
Wow.
In the same year, US police shot dead nearly 1,000 people, which is 0.0003%.
Okay.
In other words, statistically speaking, you are 15 times more likely to be killed by police in the US than in Germany.
But see, I'm not surprised by that, but see, Germany's number 15. See, when you say, oh, 15 people killed by police in a year, that seems low. Like, yeah, that really seems like a low number. And if they did do that, they probably really, really did deserve it. In comparison, it may not be a case where, oh, sorry, we thought they looked like someone. And we got it wrong. And in USA, in America, that may have happened a few more times.
In other words, statistically speaking, you are 15 times more likely to be killed by police in the US than in Germany.
But yeah, see, that stat is not surprising to me. But how low the number for Germany is, yeah, I think that's pretty commendable. That's pretty good.
While the German police are generally more professional, they're not perfect. And like every police force in the world, they're made up of...
But I'll say this. I don't want to speak too much over him. But it's like police aren't perfect because humans aren't perfect. But I guess if you're trained for a job, that's a different case. You would want to be good at your job. So yeah, there's still that fact. See, I'm saying something, but I'm being on two sides of it.
While the German police are generally more professional, they're not perfect. And like every police force in the world, they're made up of human individuals, and not all of them are as professional as others. So you don't really need to worry about your safety, but it's still good to know your rights. The general principle is that the police cannot stop you randomly, although there are some exceptions. Normally, they need to have reasonable grounds for suspicion, and they need to tell you exactly what they suspect you of.
Yeah.
A very important exception to this rule is the general traffic check. In Germany, police can randomly stop vehicles to check that they are roadworthy and the drivers fit to drive. They can give your vehicle a quick visual inspection, and they can also demand to see all the things that you are legally required to have in the vehicle. So a
That's
high
fair.
visibility jacket, a warning triangle, and a first aid kit, as well, of course, as your driving license. But
Yeah.
without reasonable grounds for suspicion, they cannot search your vehicle, and they also cannot force you to take a breathalyzer test or give a urine sample or anything of that nature, at least not without your consent. So let's say you're
So they
stopped-
can't, like, that is not a must. Like, that's not a thing you have to. Okay. Like, it's talking about, yeah, like refusing a breath test. Like, you can.
that nature, at least not without your consent. So let's say you're stopped by police and asked to take a breathalyzer test because they say you look like you might be drunk. Now, you can legitimately refuse.
Okay.
But should you? Well, if you do refuse, then the police must consider whether they have reasonable grounds to take you to the police station
Oh, wow.
for a blood test. So the risk to you, obviously, is that you get taken to the police station. The risk to the police is that actually everything's fine, you pass the blood test, there's nothing wrong, and then they've just wasted a lot of time and money. You'd probably need to make your own decision on that. But what some police officers do is to demand a urine sample on the spot, which is not just inconvenient, but
Right.
also massively humiliating for most people. Now, I think in a
Okay,
situation...
so you're not forced to do a breath test, but a urine sample? Well, what if you can't? What if you just went? What if you just went before you left the house and then they pull you over? I'm like, I can't physically do this right now. I haven't prepared. Times I would have needed to, like, for doctor-related things, I would prepare to be able to go to the toilet, to do what you need to do without giving away too much information. Yeah.
sample on the spot, which is not just inconvenient, but also massively humiliating for most people.
That too.
Now, I think in a situation like that, it is worth knowing that you can refuse, and then that would force the police officers to make a decision whether to just let you go or risk taking you in for a blood test. By the way, it used to be that they needed the authorization of a judge for a blood test, but that is now no longer necessary. The second biggest exception to the no random stops rule is if you're in a situation where there is a strong possibility of criminal activity or violence. So you might be at, for example, a demonstration or an airport or a railway station or a place where criminals are known to meet. The exact
sense.
rules vary from state to state, so I can't be very specific here. But in these situations, the police do have the power to stop and search random people. Anywhere else, they need reasonable grounds for suspicion. Here is a concrete example. It happened a few years ago when I was still living in Berlin, and I just wanted to get from one side of Alexanderplatz to the other. But I was stopped by a police officer who wanted to search my bag. I asked why, and they explained that some politician was giving a speech of some kind, and that therefore random stop and search was in effect. If I wanted to walk across the plaza, I had to have my bag searched. Well, I hadn't planned on attending this event. I didn't even know it was on. I didn't want to fight my way through a crowd of people, and I certainly didn't want to listen to some firebrand politician I'd never heard of jabber on about how useless the government is. So I told the officer that I would really rather not be searched, thank you very much, and that I would find a different route, at which point he shrugged and said, "Fair enough," and it was that easy. Alright, so if you are
That's
stopped
all right.
by the police, what are their rights, what are your rights, and what should you do? Well, if you're not actually being arrested, the police don't have too many rights. They can ask whatever questions they want, but the only ones that you have to answer are those to establish your identity.
Yeah.
Your name, date of birth, address, and nationality. The police can also demand to see your passport or ID card, and incidentally, you are legally required to possess at least one of those, although you don't normally have to carry it with you. In practice, in most cases, anything you have that will back up your answers ought to be sufficient. A driving license, for example. I once managed it with a bank card. Any other question you can refuse to answer. But of course, if you say nothing at all, the officers are likely to suspect that you have something to hide.
Yeah.
On the other hand, if you say too much, you might accidentally incriminate yourself. So
you can't be too careful with it as well. Oh, you got to make sure you say the right amount of words, not too few or not too much.
you might accidentally incriminate yourself. So, what do? First and most importantly, remain calm and polite. Don't give the officers any reason to get annoyed with you. But at the same time, whatever questions you choose to answer, answer them briefly and never give them any information that they didn't ask for. The thing to watch out for if you do encounter some of the less professional officers is that they may try to make you say more than you should. For example, if they say something like, yeah, we've been having problems with people riding scooters while stoned, do not say, oh, that's all right, I haven't had a joint all week. The classic, of course, is...
That's the obvious thing. I feel like you would only say that if you're trying to be funny. Or I'm seeing from my perspective, like, why would I say that? Doesn't make sense.
Oh, that's all right, I haven't had a joint all week. The classic, of course,
like,
is...
yeah, what if you were just saying that in a way to be funny? Like, I may do that. Like, yeah, like, from a funny aspect. Just trying to be funny, not... But I guess when it comes to, you know, if they pull you over, you would just like to be a bit straight with your comments, you know, not, yeah.
Oh, that's all right, I haven't had a joint all week. The classic, of course, is, do you know why I pulled you over? The only correct answer to that question is...
No.
No.
Yeah.
And that's basically it. The police don't have many rights, but some of them do have a few nasty tricks they can play on you.
Of course.
Be friendly, keep your answers businesslike, don't give them any information they didn't ask for, and remember that you always have the right to remain silent. But hey, the chances are that you will never need to use any of the information in this video. If this has all been just a complete waste of your time, then that's actually a good thing.
No, I think it's important.
And to make sure that the driver...
Alright, yeah. It would just be part of the video. But I think it's important. I think he makes a lot of videos like this. If you are traveling or planning to move to Germany more specifically, because these type of videos are very important. It just really prepares you for a case where police pull you over. Even that might not be a regular occurrence for you. I would like to think it's not, even wherever you live. But it's just the just in case situation, because you never know. Just prepares you for those situations a little bit more. But if there are any videos, more videos like this from Germany that want me to check out, let me know. Yeah, so far I've got playlists for videos from Germany, some music, and then funny videos. So I got a bit of a mix. So hopefully you like to see my reactions. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for this video. And yeah, let me know any other important videos that I would need to know if I were to go to Germany. But yeah, I'll leave it there for this one, and I'll see you in another video.